with youth and college sports, what has changed the most since you played?
Well, I start with youth. First off, just the exposure, amount of exposure. Back then, like um, when I played, when I was in high school and in college, like we had like what was that, like highschoolelite.com. You had like websites where like it was only two or three real websites where like they was doing high school rankings, but for like the most part, the top 25, top 30, they was always the same. So like when I graduated with '07, so it was like Derrick Rose, Evan Turner, like these type of guys. But nowadays, I see like kids and teams ranked as young as like 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like now it's like I know my sons and they always on YouTube or whatever, and like they'll look up XYZ player, and these kids is in like 11, 12 years old. Now kids got more access to see other kids as well, as opposed to back then. Like if we wasn't really getting, we wasn't really getting like the notoriety of being published like that back then. I think too, like as far as like when I played, you didn't have as many AAU and travel teams, right? So like back then, 95% of the teams was in the city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you really had to be nice to even get a tryout. It wasn't no open tryouts like that for these teams. So now, like, fast forward to today, um, you got, I know my out here alone is what we got at least like 5, 6 different AAU teams within the city.
Yeah.
I think too differently now compared to then too. Um, and it's no knock on nobody's club because you know everybody is doing it. Everybody doing their own thing, their own way. But compared to when I played when I did play AAU. I played like my freshman and sophomore year. That was my first 2 years like really playing AAU. And like when I played, like it wasn't no registration fee. It wasn't for the actual team fee. Some of these clubs charging like $1,000, 1,200. You know what I'm saying, to play. And for some of these kids, some of these parents, like I've came in contact with and talked to, like they can't afford that. So, I mean, I know some clubs make a combination, for the kids that can, but for me, like when I played, like my AAU coach, he was a high school referee and he was a college referee for boys basketball.
Gotcha.
So he selected kids that he felt that was underrated. You know what I'm saying? Because back then it was like the Rising Stars. You had Jordan Sons playing with the Rising Stars.
Yeah.
You had the other teams in the city and whatnot. But like we was going to the King James tournament. We was going to Vegas. We made it to nationals down at in Disney. But like we never paid him any type of registration money. It was more so if we was traveling, he asked for like $50, $60 towards the expenses. We always were in the van and for our hotel.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I think too that's the major difference as far as like with that. College is a whole nother level. Like I think it's pretty much the same as far as like when I was there, but the major difference is now is first and foremost the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? Like if back then, like when you played, you transferred Division 1 to Division 1, you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now with this transfer portal, you can transfer you right in the door. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to sit out. So I was like free agency for college. And then two, kind of like we was talking about earlier, with the whole NAIA thing. Because for me, like I played in NAIA, so I played at Division 1, but know that it was Division 2 at the time. But now with the NAIA level, everything is merged to one level, so it makes it easier now for guys that's not getting these Division 1s and D2s you can still go the NAIA route and get your full scholarship
Yeah.
and still play. At least you playing college ball, and you still got a potential chance to play pro overseas. So, I mean, a lot has changed since then, but overall, like, you know, just seeing these kids now have more of an opportunity to play and get exposure, I think that's the most important thing. And you know, I think, you know, it's good for these kids. I wish we would have had that, but it's good for these kids nowadays to really be able to, you know, expose their talent, you know, and you know, really get put on the map. Because I see some kids, and you see it too. Some of these kids can really play, man. So you know, I enjoy watching this new generation, you know, coming up. But yeah, I think that's what really changed the most.
Gotcha.